Neil, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Neil, can you play that again for me, please? Play the video again for me. Oh, it's got a bit of buzz, that. Yeah.
Laptop. Oh, when he was talking. Oh, I see. He did anything that comes through the main speakers.
That's weird. I've got. Oh. Oh, yeah, I get it. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. Yeah, that sounds like shit. Right.
Okay, folks, this is your 5-minute warning. Get yourself a bevy. Go and finish your ciggy. The talks will start in approximately 5 minutes' time. No, 5 minutes prompt. Prompt. See you in 5 minutes. Can you lower this a little bit? Neil, can you move this? Neil, can you lower this? Because I can't. Can you lower it down a little bit?
I say yeah, of course. There we go. I've loosened. There we go. Don't let me stand in front of a microphone, because I will just I'll just rub it on. There you go.
That's fine. Yeah.
Remember to ask them so I can be talking to the microphone as well.
Okay.
Yeah, you good? You good?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ignite. Yes. Not only is Ignite, but it's Ignite edition 50, approximately 50. I'm not sure if it's the exact 50, but is it a diamond at 50? I think, what? Golden, yeah, so it's our golden birthday or whatever. I'm Kath Holland. I'm not usually here. Well, I often do come here giving talks, but I don't usually MC the evening. It's usually the lovely Adrian. Now, Adrian can't come tonight because he's diseased. He's got an illness. We're not sure what it is. Man flu disease. So lots of love to Adrian, who is watching from home. So this is, I think it's broadcast on YouTube and Facebook as well. Now, I watched the last edition of Ignite from home because I couldn't come, and I saw someone picking their nose. And he was having a good old dig. It's up to you folks whether you want to broadcast that with the nation, but I'm just warning you in advance. If you're going to be unsociable behaviour like that, just bear in mind the people at home can see it. Okay, so any Ignite virgins? Anyone not been before? Oh, a couple. Okay. So what it is, we have 14 speakers tonight. They each speak for 5 minutes. They have slides, 20 slides that basically sit on the screen for 15 seconds, and they talk about something that's passionate to them. We've got a really wide variety of talks this evening. Now, halfway through, after the first part of the talks, after the first break, we're going to be inviting 1-minute pitches. So if anyone here has got something they want to pitch for a 1 minute, for example, it could be that you've got a club, you've got a project, you've got no mates, something like that. You can just talk for a minute and hopefully you get a response from people in the room. Okay, so Neil says I've got to be myself, and I don't think he really means that, but you never know, do you? Right, so we've got 14 talks tonight, but yeah, it is our 50th go at entertaining the masses tonight, but also the event is special for another reason. You'll have to excuse me, I'll just read this blurb. The lighting's not very good. This event is sponsored by Kindred. In case you don't know Kindred, they bring people in our community together to make positive change. They invest in socially trading organisations to create a kinder, fairer economy in the Liverpool City region through money, support, and collaboration. So before I steal their limelight, I'd like to welcome to the stage Jennifer van der Merwe. Sorry, I do. And she's going to be telling you a little bit, the director of Kindred, she's going to be telling you all about Kindred and what they do.
Hello, everyone. You almost got it right, Kath. You were this close. Yeah, it's Van der Merwe. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Van der Merwe. I'm the director of Kindred LCR. And as Kath said before, Kindred is an organisation that supports socially trading businesses or any business that has a social purpose. So if you trade and if you've got a social purpose at your heart, then it's likely that Kindred will be able to support you in some way, shape or form, whether that be through money, whether that be through advice and support, whether that be through our peer-to-peer network. Kindred is very much a network of organisations doing good stuff in our city region. We've got about 800 members now across city region, and that's growing organically and incrementally. We've invested in 44 organisations across city region so far in our first 3 years of existence. And we're just about to look at our next cohort of investments, which will happen next year. But I'm not going to steal my colleague's limelight. Nicola's going to be talking today to tell you a bit more about that in some more detail. But the real reason why Kindred exists is to grow the social impact of organisations within the city region. That's why we're here, and we do that in many different ways. Some of it is done through investing in organisations, whether it be through investment readiness support, or whether it be through a financial support, or by connecting you to each other. The key to Kindred success is everyone in the room here. It's all those organisations who are working hard day in, day out to create change at any different level. So that could be, your micro level or community level, or in any which way that your organisation helps to improve people's lives on a daily basis. And we've got to do that together. So one of the key things about Kindred and the main ethos of how we exist is through collaboration. And so tonight's collaboration with Ignite is really important for us because it's a start of how we start to move that agenda forward. So a big thank you to Neil and for the team at Ignite for having us here tonight. Really, really excited to hear all your ideas, all your thoughts and your passions that come through from tonight's talks. I'm looking forward to being inspired and excited as well throughout the evening. I think if we can start to connect and work more collaboratively together, then we're going to make a much more stronger economy moving forward, and that's Kindred's overall mission. So I just want to say welcome this evening. Really looking forward to hearing what everyone's got to say, and we look forward to having a lovely evening. So thank you very much for having us, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much to Jennifer. Now, the first speaker, I heard she's absolutely amazing. She's really, really attractive. Oh, sorry, there's a video. I do beg your pardon, video. As I was saying, the first speaker tonight, very attractive, very clever, it's me. Can I have my first slide, please? I was in work a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the posters that we had on our bedroom walls when we were teenagers. And I said, well, mine was Wham, I had Wham. And two of the guys, who I usually consider quite progressive, started laughing. So I started explaining from a critical lens about Wham, and they laughed some more. And then I realised that, not for the first time, that teenage girls' consumption is viewed very negatively by society at large. Wham is often dismissed because they're teenage, but with George Michael, obviously, beautiful, hairy, proud gay man, very politically aware, his music more sophisticated as he went on. But Wham were really, really important in many, many levels. They suddenly appeared on Top of the Pops in 1982, Young Guns Go For It, and is very much a sort of a sex wars pop song that had its own little dance routine. They got picked up even by the NME, did a really good interview with them in 1982, recognising aspects of Wham that were really important. Lots of pop groups at the time were sort of like swanning around on yachts, but Wham's budget was really, really low, and their clothes were literally bought from M&S, and the budget they had was tiny. Their song Wham Rap was basically about being an unemployed young person during the years of Thatcherism, when unemployment just shot through the roof completely. And they were thinking about what it was like to be unemployed. The fact, why should we have a rubbish job? And so it was very political, but in plain sight. Not overtly so, but in plain sight. They obviously knew the market with a fabulous image, but they also were very politically engaged as well. They did miners' benefits with this list of quite hit bands at the time, and they had to mime because their band was quite large and they only had a 20-minute set, and they were derided for miming and bringing these 13-year-old girls and making them aware of things like the miners' strike, which is 40-year anniversary this month, isn't it? But they really played their role in opening young girls' minds up to things that are outside the usual pop realm. With Make It Big, George is really going into the Lady Diana hair there. the fantastic blow dry is absolutely brilliant. And they really started going massive with Make It Big, hence the name. But the shuttlecocks, I had a poster on my wall, and they famously put shuttlecocks down the front of their shorts, didn't they? But that's very much a pop music trope, which I always quite enjoyed. And the reason people knew that they put shuttlecocks down their pants is because they told everyone, because it's all part of the humour. Don't take it too seriously. I love the whole sort of number one, say we are number one, we are ambitious. And there's no harm at all in saying we are ambitious. They were derided as when George Michael died in 2016, there was a famous music journalist, I won't name him, and he said, actually, I honestly thought Wham were Tories because they were doing like Club Tropicana, going off on fancy holidays. But Club Tropicana was actually about, if you're working class in the Thatcherite 80s, you've got no money, instead of going on a fancy holiday somewhere abroad, you go to a nightclub with plastic palm trees and you have like a fantasy. So it's very much like a working class interpretation of life and representing it. As I say, in plain sight, a lot of people wouldn't notice. Once again, he went into the big ballad, the ballad songs with, and also the fantastic Last Christmas as well. Blatant, popular, but it's one of the only pop songs that I actually like, that a Christmas pop song that I actually like, but it's absolutely fantastic. A Whamageddon. Now, what did Wham, Andrew actually do in Wham? Nothing apart from being a moral, a sort of a pal, I suppose. But that, again, that's another thing, isn't it? The song Waking Up Before You Go Go, which they released from that second album, that was very much two working class lads going out on a night out. It's a tale of friendship. Wham were the first Western pop group to tour in China. And I love looking at the photos of the fans in China who obviously weren't used to expressing themselves or didn't really have much connection with Western pop music. And they were basically doing some things outside their social norms that upset the authorities, which is quite mad in a way. But it's a beautiful thing. So I think what I'm trying to say is that with teen bands marketed towards girls, they're a lot more valuable than people assume. Thanks. Thank you. Nice. Great song. Yeah. Okay, so the next speaker is a new speaker. So I want to give her an extra warm round of applause. It's Christina Steliana Malkovich. I do apologize, Christina, if I've pronounced your name wrong. And it's a powerful equation, STEM and poetry and story, community power.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you in this evening. Happy anniversary, Ignite. I will start because I have only 5 minutes, so I will talk about STEM, poetry, and stories, and the power of the community. Why? Because we are happy and sad in many occasions, and for many people, equations are having different, parameters. But why STEM? Well, STEM because I'm an engineer and I'm passionate about maritime. I am a doctor in nautical science and engineering, but actually I was passionate about maritime since I was a child. This passion was supported by the community. Okay, so I'm born in Romania, probably my accent is evident. Well, I'm speaking 5 different languages also. But look, STEM, community. Well, I was steering that steamboat for 15 minutes, and there were many men, and probably they didn't know that a woman is steering a boat. Anyway, this is again me. involved in some international projects around the world. And again, STEM, focus on STEM because knowledge empowers you. Knowledge empowers community. And always I'm encouraging kids, young generations to study STEM. And I'm a STEM ambassador also. Why poetry? Well, poetry means power, not poems. Poems, I was just reading that represents a syndrome, a medical syndrome, so not poems, poetry, yeah? Okay, so poetry means change, and poetry means change if you have knowledge, and if you are giving that knowledge to the community, and you are empowering community and inspiring community. So I'm also a poet, and always I'm telling, be hope, be light, be you, in all workshops or events around the world. I'm writing in 3 different languages. I'm writing poetry for a more sustainable world, for a more sustainable community, because we have 17 sustainable development goals, like climate change, for example, and I have few lyrics here that it's a shame I don't have now the window to read it, but it's all about a green planet with green trees and clean seas for our future generations and for the community. The power of community is staying in us. Now, what represents writing for community? Again, writing is power because you can't write culture, you can write research, you can write equations, you can write anything. But let's see what we can find in stories, why I was mentioning stories in my equation. Well, because I'm also writing stories for kids, and the reason is that life was challenging me, and I have a neurodiverse child, and because she was playing with the globe, the earth, always, I was creating a character that is little Globby, our planet, and is like 12 years old, and we have some beautiful stories in 12 different languages around the world. And the stories are again about STEM, about inspiring young generations, about Northern Lights or cardinal points or climate change or protecting seas and oceans or saving dolphins and so on. This is me trying to find happiness, but again, community is so important, the power of community. So to me and to you, knowledge means power, STEM poetry, and stories, because each of us, we have a story to tell. This is powerful. Thank you so much. Let's write together stories for Liverpool. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Christina. Okay, so we've mentioned already that it's the 50th edition of... What are you doing? Is that done? Is that okay? It's the 50th edition of Ignite, so 50 birthday bumps for Neil later. So we've got an aptly named talk now from Paul Marrow, and it's called The Number 50.
Hello. Well, yes, apparently this is the 50th anniversary, but I don't have any slides, but I can still talk about the number 50, but I won't until some slides appear. Anyway, 50th anniversary, we're here. Nice to see you. That's my first slide gone already. I must be on to my second one now. It's a nice background anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, yes, it's here. Now I've got to go quickly. Hi, I'm Paul Marrow, as was mentioned. I'm going to talk about 50, or as the Romans would put it, L. But I'm not going to talk about L much. Where better to start than in a subway station in New York named after 50th Street, which is where it's situated. But take a picture quickly or else you might get your camera nicked. And on the next slide, you'll see where this station is. It's on 50th Street, and it's conveniently got several entrances and exits, depending on where in Manhattan you want to get out. So it's a really useful station if you ever happen to find yourself in New York City. But I'm not actually going to spend much time in the US at all. I'm going to think about other ways of looking at 50. A little closer to the mic. Yes, that's a nice exit. This was what you last saw was what the Romans did, but that's too late. Now you can think about what you can do in 50 seconds. While you can drink a drink in 50 seconds, I can't do a slide in 50 seconds because it'll have gone past. But keep on drinking your drinks. And in 50 minutes, you can almost watch an entire episode from iPlayer, but it'll probably be slightly longer than 50 minutes. But it's still quite a large chunk of time, and I won't have enough time to do one slide. So we can think about, what about in 50 hours? Well, look, if you've got a nice contract that says how many hours you have in your week, that's longer than your usual week. And I certainly wouldn't want to be at my desk for 50 hours in a week. But some people, unfortunately, do have to work that number of hours in a week. But hopefully, when you're thinking about 50 days, you've had some time to take a bit of a break and go and do a bit of shopping, maybe buy some shoes, like at this shoe shop. If you don't know where it is, look at the pedestrian crossing. If you may not want to buy shoes, of course, hopefully in 50 weeks, I mean, you're coming up to a year, it's time for a foreign holiday somewhere. I would recommend this location. Maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't, but of course there's many other places that you may want to go to as well. I'm going to think about 50 in other ways now, thinking about age, depending on the year that you were born in, life expectancy, this is a sort of estimate of how long you will live, changes. So people who were born in 1950 have different life expectancy than people who were born in the year I was born in. I won't tell you what that is, but I'm now thinking about 50 in different ways. Where was I when I was 50 years old? I was in the hospital I was born in. And where was I when I was 50 days old? I was in this city shown on this slide. I'm not going to ask you where you were, but I may ask you afterwards if we have time. What about when you were 50 weeks old? Well, some good friends of mine were nearly celebrating the first birthday of their child. I'm hiding the privacy of the child in this picture, but you can see the first birthday cake. What about 50 months old? Well, I knew where I was when I was 50 months old because I was just over 4 years old, and I had fun playing on the top of a Land Rover, shown here. I'm a bit over 4 years now. What about when you were 50 years old? Well, I realized some of you were saying, well, I'm nowhere near that yet, but unfortunately, I've been past that age, and I took this photo when I was 50 years old. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but you may be able to guess from some features of the train on it. Getting to these sort of years can be difficult, as these people, who I took a photo of, were finding, although I was in an easier location. And other things which we thought were finished in less than 50 years, such as the Cold War, which you see here, seem to be coming back to haunt us some years later. And it's a bit of a problem. And I can't really predict what's going to happen, but hopefully it will get solved at some point. But we can. This is why we need to look to the future. And some people can say that in 3 years we can get to Mars, but when that will happen, we don't know. But there is the suggestion that once we get to Mars, we'll live there permanently, and we'll certainly be there for 50 years. And what we know is that if this is the 50th Liverpool Ignite, that even though it's still sort of winter-spring, that we're driving towards the summer. But the end of my talk is nigh, as shown on this banner here. As you can see, I've hidden the date, but the end is definitely nigh. So at this point, I have to say goodbye.
Yeah, 50 is the magic number. If you're inspired by Paul's talk, remember, we're always looking for speakers at Ignite. So if anything occurs to you, any passion that you've got that you'd like to talk about at the next Ignite, then you can go on the website or just speak to one of us in the break or after everything's finished. Okay. So next up, I've got David Armstrong, who put out a book, I think, in January. 7 Rules to a Good Life. David? Oh, there you are.
Yeah. My book was 45 years in the making, but it actually started on the 16th of June 1982 when I lost my best friend in the Falklands War. Budgie died on the Invincible the day after the Falklands finished. But go forward in 1999, I had another experience where a very brave fire officer called Paul Metcalf died at a water incident. And what those 2 tragic deaths inform me of is first, life can be taken away and time is precious. But more importantly, you should be able to deal with first risk and first warning. So those deaths were completely avoidable and totally were known in what was going on. I went to the Falklands and I got given a Special Forces guy who taught us going down the Falklands, and that's our helicopter. And he gave us some tools about controlling emotion. He said, remove your anger, give yourself a chance to live and remove anger. But he also gave us another tool, which was how to help yourself in a dark corner when in being recallable. And what that means is that big target helicopter, small target, big target helicopter, small target, get off the big target. And he wanted to give me tools that can help you in an instant. And also through my life, I've had some profound experiences. The lows of life was I was still a serving fire officer, and I spent 2 nights on Euston Station losing everything. But I've also had some very highs in life. Yes, there's me, top left-hand corner, I'm the top of the mast as well. But I've had some highs by helping people and coaching people in their lives. And that's my university and college person. I was very proud of being the course director of the Fire Services College. So put that all together, I wanted to produce a self-help book with 7 rules. That's totally recallable in an instant, totally transferable, and actually can help people in the lows of life and in peak performance. So I put that all together, and here they are. So my 7 rules are: take responsibility. Your life will not be yours if you don't, and we all know that. Someone said to me, well, how can you take responsibility when you're in lows of life? Take responsibility, I need help. So the next rule is control emotions. So once you took the responsibility, you then control your emotions. It's about understanding and getting to know how your brain works. So making sure you have control of your emotions to allow you to have the life that you want. And then we're moving down is then rule 3 is create meaning. And that means giving you direction and purpose in life. And those 3 rules are the engine and the drivers of the 7 rules to the good life. The next one is keep on learning. So rule 4 is keep on learning. Now, the thing is people say there's failure, but if you control your emotion, failure is not failure. It's just a moment in time. You've got to accept that you don't know something. You actually haven't got an experience, or you need some knowledge. So control your emotion and remove failure from your mind. And then what you do is, with all those good learning, you compound those decisions and make sure that you do something today that makes you better tomorrow. Successful athletes and all peak performers do incremental shifts by doing something today that makes them better tomorrow. And from that learning, you compound those decisions by gaining in life rather than drifting. So work, share, and experience together, rule 6, is working together is far better than working apart, as what Kindred said before. Put it all together, we can do amazing things. And rule 7 is a ghost rule of the 7 rules to the good life. And that's break your chains, as the parable of Cave suggests, which is turn fear into hope and turn doubt into belief. So those are my 7 rules, and they come across these 3 elements. But like everything in life, there's a twist in the tail. And one of my dedications in my book was my wife, Nikki, who died of cancer in 2017. And she was beautiful and kind and fun. But on her last days, she turned around to me, made a profound comment to me. She said, when I die, don't you die. I'm dead, you're not dead mentally, so go again in life. And that's where my 7 rules were born. She also said, let me be a tree. So my partner Anna took her ashes, and she's now in the King's Oak in Glastonbury, and she became a tree. And what a beautiful way to see it. So if you are interested in my book, The 7 Rules to the Good Life, please contact me. There's some leaflets on the tables there, and just scan the barcode, and I've got a website and the things to follow. But just remember the mantra, do something today that helps you better tomorrow. And if you really want a good tomorrow to be different, start the good life today, whatever and wherever you want to be, because the beauty of life is we're all different and we have to find our own good life. So just remember, you only have one go at life. Just make sure it's a good one. Thank you.
What a lovely positive talk. Thanks very much, David. Next up, we've got Eric Masaba, and he's going to be talking about fairy rotodine. What is it, and why is it making a comeback?
Hello. This talk is going to be about how we don't need, nor did we ever need HS2, but we do need to improve transport links, both to and within the region, as well as find a new economic strategy for next 25 years. So it's not nice to be the last one hired and the first one fired, but we're Liverpool, so that's kind of way. HS2, well, they didn't even bother to put us on the map, and then they cancelled it anyway. So this story begins in 1920s when the invention of the autogyro, that's this thing, was made by a Spaniard called Juan de la Sierva. An autogyro is actually a cross between a helicopter and an aeroplane, but with the main benefits, the rotor's not powered, and if the engine fails, it can drift down like a parachute. So we had this thing in 1956, can you believe, the Fairy Rotodyne. It was basically an airliner-sized helicopter which could actually travel almost as fast as a plane. So Fairy created it. It was powered by these tip jets. So what the tip jets do is they actually push the rotor. They're like jet engines at the end of the rotor, so the rotor itself isn't driven. And this allows the aircraft to go almost as fast as an actual aeroplane, using the airflow to keep it abreast with this freely spinning rotor. It could carry 50 plus passengers. Here's some nurses in the 1950s who are demonstrating the capacity. The clamshell doors could also handle whole massive things like Land Rovers. It could also carry underslung loads, and it had the world speed record for helicopters at the time. So what did we do? We cancelled it, and we destroyed all the plans, and we said it must never be built. Now let's fast forward 60 years, and Sikorsky and Lockheed and Boeing, they're all making their versions of this. There's the X2, Eurocopter has a demonstrator. These are contra-rotating aircraft, but they're powered. Now, what this means is if we had something like this, we could completely change Liverpool. We could make those travel times 42 minutes to London, city centre to city centre, Oxford half an hour. I think Belfast is wrong, it should be about 15 minutes. So that is the Fairy Rotodyne. That is something we had, and I don't know what's wrong with the government here and in Britain, but we could have actually made this thing work. If we do bring it back, we would have massive employment in this region again. I mean, this is Boeing's plant, I think, in Everett, but we could have this building, Fairy Rotodynes, again in the region, changing the economic prosperity for all of us. This is a Sikorsky plant. They're actually pushing forward their version of the future vertical lift, which was actually cancelled for the army, but they've got various versions. Now, there's no reason for us not to seize the opportunity and say, let's do this again. Where could we site it in Liverpool? Well, obviously there's John Lennon Airport, but we've got that massive industrial park with AstraZeneca, Novartis, all those places. I know we've now got some vaccine plant coming, but we could actually bring back heavy-duty engineering. This is Liverpool Festival Gardens, which could act as the actual heliport from which this thing could take off, because you wouldn't actually have to go all the way to the airport, and it could land on rooftops in whichever city. You could get to Glastonbury in 50 minutes from Liverpool. We would need also to bring back some engineering for pumped storage. This is, I think this is Raccoon City or something in the United States, like the Norwich here. Basically, when we've got spare power, you pump water up a mountain, and you can let it come down. This is me a long time ago, maybe even 50 years ago. This is where I was at some NASA bases, Marshall and Kennedy. I was in the Air Force, and I came up with an idea for a stupid thing called taxi hailing by smartphone, which isn't too bad, actually. So I've got the IP on that. Now, NASA themselves, they use their various sites to do different parts of, this is their Future Vertical Lift project, which is basically their Rotodyne, because we started, the Americans take it. So how would we pay for it? Well, I just got my patent just last year, which this chap actually uses every day. So hopefully we can get the government to ask him for a contribution, and then we'd have all the money we need to make this thing. Now, as for what people did with the plans, because they got rid of it, well, this is the tumbler that Chris Nolan made for his Batman film. He literally made that in his garage with a box of scraps for Lark, and you can actually make it from just stills. So we could get this thing back. It could be flying within 5 years. We flight tested it 60 years ago. It would completely change the entire region. We could go anywhere in the UK in probably an hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eric. Psst, psst, shh. No mind laughing, talking. Okay, next up we've got Ed Gorman. So you've declared a climate emergency and written a net zero plan. How's the carbon reduction going?
Yeah, I thought I'd go for the longest title of the talk today. So this is a talk about local groups and local councils trying to do something about climate change. So my name is Ed Gorman, and I am one of the directors of Zero Carbon Liverpool City Region. And we're trying to increase the rate and scale of action around reducing carbon emissions in Liverpool and Liverpool City Region, but mainly Liverpool and Sefton so far. So how do people feel about climate change? I'm going to ask you to make a sound to express your feelings, either meh, oops, or fuck. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's always good to do that. Okay, next noise. How do we think we're doing on climate change as a country? Give me a noise. Okay, fuck. What about as a city region? Or as a city? Okay. Well, Liverpool City Council, you'd be pleased to know, and Sefton Council, Wirral Council, and the Combined Authority all declared a climate emergency in 2019. And there's a picture of Liverpool City Council giving themselves a nice certificate for doing so in 2019. Part of what that involved was writing a net zero plan. So they all wrote different net zero plans about how to get to net zero in line with the Paris climate agreements of getting to net zero by 2050 in general. But the target isn't really, the time, it's like 2050 or 2040 or whenever. The time isn't really as important as the carbon budget and sticking to the carbon budget. And these are the kind of different carbon budgets for 1.5, 1.7. And only Wirral Council has a carbon budget in their net zero plan. This is from the Tyndall Centre. These are the kind of carbon reduction graphs you need if we're going to get to net zero by 2050, according to that are Paris compliant with the 1.5 degree target. This is from the Combined Authorities 5-year plan, most recent 5-year plan. They say by 2028, by the end of that 5-year plan, if they're on track to get to net zero, they need a 40% reduction in carbon emissions by 2028, or 66% if it's going to be 1.5 compliant. This is the breakdown of where the emissions come from. So the two big ones are obviously domestic and transport. So cutting emissions from transport will involve radical changes in how we move around the city and the city region. The 5-year plan is great and very ambitious. This is a 5-year plan from Liverpool City Council. They want to cut carbon emissions from private vehicles, which is cars, by 50% by 2028 or 2027. So they do understand the scale of the challenge, but they don't communicate that very well. And that's common across the board with climate change. Ambitious targets need to be backed up with solid plans of how they actually achieve those targets. And it'd be nice if they work with some of the groups and organisations who are already working on climate change locally, like, for example, Zero Carbon Liverpool City Region. But there are others, such as Plastic Tactics, Compost Works, Peloton, Faith for Change, Energy Projects Plus, Rural Environment Network, and so on. So what have we been doing? So we spent 2 years and £140,000 trying to develop an onshore wind turbine in Southport, and then Sefton Council turned around and gave the land to a developer who wanted to develop a surf resort. Boo! So we set up an active travel forum, and this is a little group of people here organising to try and save the Kingsley Road bike lanes. There's a meeting tomorrow, so we find out if we've actually saved like one of the very few segregated bike lanes in Liverpool tomorrow. We inherited a solar array from Good Neighbour Energy Company, thanks very much, which provides wonderful volunteering opportunities for anyone who wants to help us clean those panels. Talk to me after. We also do carbon literacy training. I'm a certified trainer and facilitator, and I've delivered more than 10 courses now for the voluntary and community sector, but also businesses and the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine and the University of Liverpool. If anyone is interested in getting some carbon literacy training, speak to me after. We're also doing climate cafes. We've helped organise one climate cafe so far. Climate cafes are safe, facilitated, non-doing spaces that give people the opportunity to talk about their feelings about climate change in a group, which doesn't sound fun, but it is kind of interesting. We're hopefully going to run more of those regularly. So we need your help. We're trying to grow and expand our capacity, so please get in touch if you're willing and able to get involved. And thanks for listening. And those are my contact details. And Free Palestine.
Thanks very much, Ed. Is Tom Williamson here? Okay. Tom's got a very personal story to share. This is not having a stroke.
Hello, everyone. Now, fair warning, there are MRI scans in my talk, so you might want to close your eyes. So, yes, last time I was up here on this stage, I told everyone that I'd had a stroke. And that was a lie. That was a huge lie. Well, it wasn't a deliberate lie. So, anyway, so there I am, proudly telling everyone, look at me, I'm a stroke survivor. No, I wasn't. That's completely wrong. I did not have a stroke. What I had was something a lot... Oh. Hello? There we go. Oh, no, I shouldn't have picked it up. Anyway, so this big thing in the middle of my brain, that is what's called a cavernoma, and it is a weird little bundle of abnormal blood cells. And it's so rare that this was the highest resolution image I could find of an illustration of one. But it's about the size of a small raspberry, and it's right in the middle of my brainstem, and it's still there to this day. So what happened to me is that I had a dental appointment, and afterwards I thought, ooh, I feel a bit weird. Am I talking funny? Because my wrist feels weird. So everyone thought that it was a stroke, but it's not a stroke. Yes, my brain was slowly filling up with blood, and the blood was causing pressure in my brain, which was squashing things, which was giving the impression that I'd had a stroke. And pretty much every medical professional I saw, from the GP to the stroke unit, went, yes, you've had a stroke. And I was given discharge and treated in the community like I'd had a stroke. Perfectly understandable, because very similar symptoms, including, slurred speech, blurred vision, poor coordination. So, yes, like I say, totally understandable that the medical people thought I'd had a stroke, because strokes are very, very common. There's about 100,000 strokes in the UK every year, so that's one every 5 minutes. So, on paper, you look at someone like me and you think, yeah, he's had a stroke. But there's several big differences. The best difference for me is that with what I've had, you 100% recover. You don't from a stroke, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. But the main difference is that a stroke is instant. It's like bang, and so I'm sure we all know the fast thing, the face, arms, speech, and time.
So stroke, straight away, instant, it happens. Whereas with hemorrhagic cavernoma, it's very, very gradual. So like I say, the cavernoma, which is the sort of blobby thing in the middle of my brain, one day decided to bleed, and slowly, slowly the symptoms got worse until at one point I could barely talk and I could barely walk. So it got gradually worse and worse and worse and worse. And then it stopped bleeding and the blood got reabsorbed and it gradually got better and better and better. This was very weird for the stroke nurse who was looking after me, because she was expecting, oh yeah, he's had a stroke, but he'll be getting better. They all get better. Whereas the third or fourth time she saw me, I was still getting worse. And she was like, what's going on? What's going on? Why is he getting worse? This isn't right. Ah! So yeah, that was weird. Whereas the cavernoma statistics is 1 in 600 people have an asymptomatic cavernoma, so there's a good chance that someone's got one in this room. But there's only 150 instances of it per year, and you have surgery if the benefits outweigh the risks. I've taken to calling it a hipster stroke because people ask me, hey, what happened to you? And I go, I had hemorrhagic cavernoma. You wouldn't have heard of it. So yeah, that's why I call it hipster stroke. So what next for me? I've got this weird thing in my brain. It's been there possibly since I was born. No one really knows. So do I have surgery or do just leave it? Now, I was given the survival rate for the surgery. So the operation to remove it is possibly the hardest thing you can do in neurosurgery because it's in my brain stem. It is in literally the worst possible place. I was given the survival rate for the surgery, and it's 20%. So if I want it removed, I have an 80% chance of death. So, yeah, it hasn't bled. According to anecdotal evidence, it's not likely to bleed, so I think I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it in. Thanks very much.
So you're not having the surgery then? No. Okay, we're coming to the end of the first half. I'm going to take a 20-minute break. If anyone has got an idea for a little pitch, 1-minute pitch, in the beginning of the second half, please come and say hello to me. As I said, if you've got any little projects you're thinking of starting, anything, any little initiatives you've got in your community, anything like that, and you want to shout it out to everyone in the room, come over to me in the break, and you can speak about it on stage. Kindred are here as well. If you want to pick their brains on what they do, maybe talk up some collaborations, and if you want to speak to any of the speakers that have been on so far this evening, then have a chat. I'm here to talk wham. I'm here to talk wham. Form an orderly queue, and we'll sort George and Andrew. But yeah, get yourself a drink and see you in 20 minutes.
social purpose at our hearts.
We are not grant-reliant charities and we do not take profits out of the areas that we work in.
We are teachers and trainers,
musicians and makers,
carers and growers,
cyclists and sowers.
We include everyone from community businesses, community land trusts, CICs and social enterprises,
cooperatives, mission-driven companies and family businesses.
STOs are natural collaborators.
We understand that our economy flourishes when we collaborate, encourage and champion each other.
We work together, focusing on relationships and networks, not transactions, because together we are mighty. So what's different about Kindred?
Kindred is a CIC limited by guarantee.
It will be owned by its community, owned by its work through
Kindred is a different.
part 2. Take a seat. Take a seat. Can all the 1 minute picture people come and form an orderly queue? Anyone who's doing a 1 minute pitch, come and do form an orderly queue, please. Take a seat, everyone. Take a seat. You're not here to have fun. Come on. Come on, take a seat. We're going to start off with that film provided by Kindred. Jennifer van der Merwe did a talk about Kindred, who we're working in collaboration with tonight. So we're just going to show you that short film now.
Different type of social investments.
Owned locally and collectively.
To invest money and learning.
In our community of socially trading organisations, we call ourselves STOs for short.
It's a vision of what happens when businesses invest in one another, collaborate to find solutions and come together. It's a kinder, more just economy that represents the best the region has to offer.
We're a collaborative network firmly rooted in our local communities.
Offering hands-on peer-to-peer support and learning.
During the pandemic, we're able to support each other online through Kindred, as well as the work we each do in our local communities.
The support that we get is tailored to growing our individual and collective social impact.
And the Liverpool City region's social economy.
Some of that support is in money, some in contacts, networking and collaboration.
For some of us, it's just knowing the right person to ask for advice.
STOs are businesses that deliver social benefits and trade commercially.
With social purpose at our hearts.
We are not grant-reliant charities and we do not take profits out of the areas that we work in.
We're teachers and trainers,
musicians and makers,
carers and growers,
cyclists and sowers.
We include everyone from community businesses, community land trusts, CICs and social enterprises,
cooperatives, mission-driven companies and family businesses.
STOs are natural collaborators.
We understand that our economy flourishes when we collaborate, encourage and champion each other.
We work together, focusing on relationships and networks, not transactions, because together we are mighty. So what's different about Kindred?
Kindred is a CIC limited by guarantee.
It will be owned by its community for the benefit of its community.
Kindred's been 5 years in the making.
Co-designed and developed by and with over 150 socially trading organisations in Liverpool City region.
STOs have been part of the conversation about what sort of money they're comfortable with.
The investments we've received are each bespoke.
Kindred has received money from the LCR Combined Authority and Power to Change.
But it's independent. It's a new way of doing things, designed to offer new kinds of money and support.
This allows us to take higher risks.
And engage STOs that might not ordinarily get investment with patience and encouragement.
Kindred understands how we access money and how we show what we value doesn't work for everybody.
And that's why we're doing something new.
The money Kindred invests will be used time and again.
As we pay it forward when we pay it back.
Our collective value is measured by social impact and the change we create.
Not just our financial returns.
We don't exist in isolation.
We are very much part of a national and global movement.
Together,
we are Kindred.
That's the wonderful Kindred. And if you want to speak to Jennifer, who's the director of Kindred, she's the lady in the fabulous pink coat. The coat of the evening. Right, next up we've got our 1 minute pictures, some eager beavers who want to tell you all about projects that they're working on. And first up we have Emma Carter-Brown, who's talking about what language can do for us.
If she can get on the stage. So I'm Emma and I want you to harness the power of language. So just a few things that language can do for us. You can feel less pain. Psychologists have proven that if you swear really loudly, that you actually feel less pain. So if you go home and stub your toe tonight, just shout fuck really loudly and for a long time and it will hurt less. You can also evade the law. So Cockney rhyming slang came out of East End crime bosses creating words and phrases so that the police didn't know what they were on about. You can create community and identity. Queer people as far back as the 19th century were creating their own words and their own phrases. so that they could recognise one another and have a sense of belonging in their own group. And finally, it can inject a welcome sense of humour into your life. So my husband and I spent Sunday afternoon bang-a-bonking. And most Scousers have been bang-a-bonking as well, because it's a medieval word for lazing about on a riverbank. So please, harness the power of language.
Thank you, Emma. I fell down the stairs and dislocated my shoulder nearly 3 weeks ago, and I can confirm swearing like a sailor, it is a very good painkiller. I've made up swear words in the last few weeks, can attest to that. Next up, we've got Maria Barrett, who's going to talk about an interview at Waterstones in Liverpool 1 with Jerry Potter.
Hi. Yes, so I'm Maria Barrett, and on the 26th of March at 6:30, I'll be interviewing writer Jerry Potter. Jerry's written this book called 6A Blackstock Gardens, and it's a book about growing up in a tenement in North Liverpool, close to the docks. And he grew up an effeminate child in a working class community, and it tells the story of him, his family, and the wider community in the last days of Blackstock Gardens. And it has lots of tragedy in it. It has his mum who goes through this traumatic series of events, but it's also really, really funny. And it's written at a great pace. It bangs along. And I feel the need to swear. And I'll be interviewing him to see why he wrote the book, why he's written it now, but also about the nature of memoir and how, you know, is it accurate? Is it a story? Is it fictional? Is it fictionalized? What is it? What is it when you write your memoir? So that's on the 26th of March at 6:30 at Waterstones in Liverpool. Do come along. I'll put a link on X, as we fucking have to call it now. And I've been asked to mention International Women's Day on Friday. Happy International Women's Day. And indeed, Free Palestine.
Maria, you can call Twitter what you want. We have no rules. We have no rules here. The next 1 minute pitch is by Kay Murphy, and it's about dragon boat racing and paddling with breast cancer survivors.
Yes, hello, my name's Kay Murphy, and I love to go dragon boat racing. I do it with a group called Pool of Life, which is based at the Liverpool Water Sports Centre, just opposite the Baltic, and we are all breast cancer survivors. It's open to women and men, because men get breast cancer as well, so everyone check your breasts, please, regularly. It's just a brilliant way to keep fit, to make new friends, as I did. I was very new to Liverpool and I was desperately poorly. We have people at all different stages of their treatment and thereafter. It's just great for fitness. It's great for friendship. It's like a floating support group. We help each other out. We listen. We don't sit. It's not tea and sympathy. If you want that, there are hundreds of other support groups to go to. But we all understand where one another are coming from. There's good days, there's bad days, but we just do the best we can in that moment, in the boat, and it's fucking amazing. I'm going to swear as well. So I've got some leaflets with me tonight if anyone would like to take one, but I'm sure that everyone in this room has been affected or knows someone that's been affected by breast cancer. So whether it's friend, family, the person that you say hello to on the bus on your way to work, please help us spread the word and give cancer a bloody great kick up the arse. Thank you.
A lovely, positive project, that one. Satya Maraji is from Liverpool City Toastmasters, and he's going to talk about public speaking.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Really enjoyed my evening. I didn't know what to expect when I came here, but I was recommended to come, and I haven't been disappointed at all. I've enjoyed all the speeches. I've loved all the people that have come up here and talked, off the cuff. And really, that's what Liverpool City Toastmasters is all about. So who here has heard of Toastmasters before? So it's not those weird people that stand in red coats with those big long coattails at the back, raising glasses to everyone. We actually are a public speaking organization, and we kind of center around building confidence on the stage and speaking publicly. So our next meeting is actually tomorrow night. What do you normally do on a Thursday night? Do you sit at home and watch Netflix? Do you kind of just, I don't know, do you go out and eat? Do you just sit there on your own? Instead of doing that, why not come along and see some prepared speeches? It's a privilege. You're sitting there watching people who have spent maybe weeks, maybe a few days preparing a speech to present to you. It's like entertainment. But then if you really want to throw yourself in, improve your public speaking, I feel like a lot of people have come here to watch speeches today, but I bet you there's a bunch of you in the audience that would love to be here on stage one day. And if you want to hone your public speaking, you've been umming and ahhing about presenting at any sort of event, come along, give it a go, and see where it might take you. Thank you.
Next up, we've got Ian Barry, who's going to talk about Make It Right.
Good evening, Ignite. I'd like to say, first of all, thank you very much for all tonight's speakers, because you actually encouraged me to make this speech tonight, because what I want to talk about is not so much make it right. What I want to talk about is a support group. What I want to talk about is a symbiosis of getting different people together in the same frame of mind, the same amount of enthusiasm to lift people up, because Make It Right is a support group for actors, directors, and writers. We can't all do it on our own. Doing it with other people is what makes the damn thing work. So if you've written a play, if you'd like to write a play, we can help you there. If you've written a play and you want some professional, free advice to get it cast and on stage, go and visit makeitright.org. That's WRITE.org, makeitright.org, because we can do that. Last week, at the, what the hell's it called? Forgotten the name of the place now. Hope Street Theatre. How could I be so ignorant? Hope Street Theatre. Last Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Play Passing Moustache. What a wonderful title. Moustache. Passing Moustache. Played to full houses with full professional cast. 2 years ago, that was a 10-minute short delivered over Zoom to people sat around in their front rooms. That's what can happen when you get people together who are willing to support each other, find a community, and make it all work together. If you want to get yourself up and running and to join in people who have got the same enthusiasm as you have, go visit makeitright.org, give them an email, ask them what you can do, how you can help, how you can get involved. It'll be well worth your while. And I really think you should all give yourself a round of applause for being here tonight.
Okay, we've got Olivia Haven up next. It's her first time at Ignite full stop, isn't it, Olivia? And she wants to talk about I'm Unemployed.
Right, so I'm here visiting my aunt and uncle in Liverpool. Okay, sorry. And I'm unemployed. I'm from New York. I just graduated from the Fashion Institute of Technology, and I'm moving to London. Yay! So I have a ton of experience in styling and casting and production, and I also, it's a semi-lie because I do have some freelance small businesses. I do freelance social media management, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to come up here and promote myself. A little selfish, I guess, but So my email is obhaven@gmail.com, and my phone number is 7380, it's new now, 901262. And you can find me later, but yeah, need a job, so let me know. Thank you.
Good luck, Olivia. Thanks for that. David from Liverpool Speakers Club's next.
Yeah, hi, my name's David. I am from Liverpool Speakers Club, and we are Satch's competition. So Satch's already talked about why you should do it, but I'd like to talk about why you should do it with us. Our club's been going for 60-odd years. It's probably testament to the genius of our marketing that we've remained a secret to all of you in this room. But I'd say come along and definitely have a go at our club. We will take absolutely anybody from a total beginner to somebody who's already quite good and just wants a place to practice. If you don't have a clue where to get started and you've always wanted to go, we can teach you. We can teach you how to write a speech. We can teach you how to deliver one. We can teach you how to come up with things off the cuff. Basically, if you want to come up and speak, we can help you. Our next meeting is this time next week, so it's next Wednesday night. We meet at the Racket Club Hotel, so just down by the riverfront. It's free to come along for guests, so absolutely all we ask from you is your time. Come along a few times, see what you think. You can find us all across the socials. We've got our own website on Facebook, Instagram, I'll call it Twitter as well. And yeah, we'd absolutely love to see you there. So next Wednesday, 7:30, please come along if you fancy giving it a go.
Thank you, thank you. I always thought the goat was a metaphor for the devil, but Simon Crawshaw has got another tale to tell.
Thank you. How do you? Yep. Thank you. How do you follow all that? Goat, greatest of all time. I think it's entered into the parlance. My impression is that it originated in basketball, and for most people my age will just inflexibly say the greatest of all time was Michael Jordan. I'm not really here to talk about basketball, but I'll try to encapsulate the idea I'm trying to talk about as within the minute. Actually, if you look at the stats, counting stats, the science of it, the greatest of all time is LeBron James. But people my age are so invested in the idea of the past, and we wrap up our values in these notions and our identities and passion, and we take to Twitter and we talk about who we believe to be the best. And I think in doing that, we overlook that in all likelihood, the greatest of all time isn't Michael Jordan, and it isn't LeBron James. It's probably some 18-year-old kid who's coming through now, because in many respects, the world is actually improving in terms of performance, athletic performance, culture, media, and I think that we need to be more open to the ideas that actually things are improving and getting better. Thank you very much.
And finally, we've got Neil.
There are two things that haven't been mentioned, which I will mention, and then I'll mention this leaflet, and then I'll mention something else that I was told to mention. So the first thing that I should mention is Awesome Liverpool, because nobody's got up here and mentioned Awesome Liverpool. Who knows about Awesome Liverpool? There you go. Well, you should be up here telling them about it instead of me. Go look, Awesome Liverpool, £500 grant. I think they give away every month. Go have a look at that. It's interesting. Second thing I'll mention is Liverpool Tool Hire. Has anybody ever gone to do a bit of DIY and they haven't had the right tool for it? Yeah, we've all done that. Yeah, Liverpool Tool Hire Company, they've got tools which you can go in and you can hire. It's not Liverpool Tool. What it is? Tool Library, Liverpool Tool Library. God, what am I like? Yeah, Liverpool Tool Library. You can go in there and you can hire them for free. So 2 brilliant projects in Liverpool that haven't been mentioned. The third thing that I will mention is Jelly Liverpool, which is a... Thank you very much, Kay, down there at the back, and Mike and Gary, who've come along to go, yeah, Neil's talking about Jelly Liverpool. It's a weekly meet-up. It's free to come along to. We go along and we inhabit other people's spaces and we drink their coffee, or we sometimes pay for it. But if you're sick of working on your own in a cafe, then come along and make new friends. As you can see, they're not that great. The next thing that I will mention is Does Liverpool runs a wonderful free workshop thing on a Saturday. I don't know because I've never been. What's it called, Jackie? Make a Day. There we go. That's my memory. Second Saturday of every month, it's Make a Day. If you're interested in finding out about laser cutting, you're interested in finding about doing that thing on mugs where they put a transfer on, which is really great. What? Die sub, I've been told. If you're interested in finding out about 3D printing, laser cutting, all that kind of malarkey, which is really, really interesting, maybe in automatons, which is going to be the next thing that I'm interested in, then go along to that. That's this Saturday coming and is the second Saturday of every month. Thank you and good night.
Okay, so we've got the remainder of our talks. First one of the second half is Nicola Hyam. I think she was on, is it Radio 5 this morning? No? What's about someone else? Okay, so Kindred, investing in stories of your future. Maybe you should have been on. No. Kindred, investing in stories of your future.
Just when you thought you'd heard the last from Kindred, here I am. Okay, oh, here we are. Oh, God, I need to go. Right. Kindred, as Jen said, we invest in socially trading organisations to create We put social value at the heart of economic growth, not financial returns. And we give businesses the right support to grow this impact. Oh, that's longer than I thought it would be. Okay, we were co-created with all the STOs to solve problems that this community told us existed. We worked with over 150 organisations that built Kindred up from nothing. What was the problem? Investment that was available wasn't suitable. There was too much competition for funds, and the time and capacity to apply for these funds was short and totally disproportionate to the returns that they got. What, you may ask, is an STO? It's an organisation with a social purpose that is sustainable through trading. So any form of trade, contracts to deliver services, customers, and how do we achieve our purpose of Kindred? And it's through community and collaboration, through support, and through the all-important, but not most important, money. Through community. Okay. We help build communities of interest with shared goals. So we would say that 2 speaking clubs is better than 1 speaking club. Support. We support communities. We have a place-based approach, and Chris is here, our place lead tonight. And we work with change makers in place, and we connect them and enhance what they do. And money. We make investments in socially traded organisations. And I'll come to talk about money in a minute. Money can't be scary. And I will demystify the money in a minute. So, we have made, to date, 44 investments across the city region, some of who are in here tonight, approximately $1 million a year. The first year was delivered from our bedrooms in lockdown. This money is repayable, but some of the money these organisations are able to repay in the social value that they deliver to their communities and for the people that they work with. Here we go. So from April, we will be open. Our next round will open, and it will remain open until our money runs out, which is fab. How do I let you know that I'm interested? You speak to us, because what people told us when we spoke to those 150 people is, please do not let us fill in an application form. But there is a tiny one. It's only very tiny. We'll work together with you to see if you are impact ready. What does that mean? And I will go on to tell you. We need you to be able to tell your story. What does that mean? Who you are, where you work, what you do, and with who. What do you do? We also need you to tell us what you want the money for and how exactly that will grow your social impact and your sustainability as an organization. The next thing that's really important is the financial health of your organization. Explaining to us and explaining to the people what you do now, where your money comes from, who your customers are, and how your organization is governed. As this is sorry, I'm going to say this bit, even though I've gone on. We need to see that it can be paid back, because that's what supports the future investments that we make. It's important how you collaborate with others, because when we invest in place and invest with people who are connected to each other, that investment goes further. Who makes the decisions? It's organizations like you that make the decisions with expertise that comes from lived experience. So if you're interested, come and speak to us, come join us, and take part in a journey, not a process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did anyone hear me? Is that fine? It's okay. Next up, we've got Emma Bamber, an international welcome from Cafe Laziz.
Thank you. Hi. So I'm Emma. I'm from Cafe Laziz, which is a cafe based in St. Helens, but we're not only a cafe, and we're not just a cafe. We are a cafe. I feel like I'm thinking. This is me and my friend Claire. We serve a lot of food, and we work with refugees and asylum seekers in St. Helens who cook the food, because we are not chefs. But the food they make is amazing, and the reason they make it is because they tell us, this is Sultana from Syria, and she told us that it's like cooking for her dad when she cooks for us. So it's really, really sensitive and special. Now, I haven't brought any food, and I'm so sorry, Neil. I know I let you down, but I've brought lots of pictures of food, so sorry. But you can see it's quite amazing. Next time. So when we're sharing food in the cafe, we are sharing people's histories, people's cultures, and we're also empowering the people who are sharing their recipes. We're helping them remember where they came from and to share their recipes with the people of St. Helens. As you can see, this is quite an empowering thing for these people who've been through so much. And I can't remember what's next. Let's see what's coming up. There we go. So we also run a cafe, as I mentioned. So we run a cafe once a week on a Thursday in a community centre in St. Helens, which you are very welcome to. I've left some leaflets on your tables for you to see. And we have a market stall. The market stall has been amazing. It's in Rainhill once a month, and it's just been fantastic for meeting people and helping our volunteers to meet people from the community to speak English, to practice their English. This is Myra. She is amazing. She's our operations manager. We've just given her a title because she's so good. And she says when she makes food for us to share, it's like she's making it for her friends and her family at home. Al-Fadil is from Sudan, and he's just joined us, and he's just arrived in the UK. He stood and did a pitch with me a couple of weeks ago, and we won the money. I mean, how empowering is that? The origins of Café Laziz, this is Deb. She is the founder, and she's amazing. It was an Arabic cafe because St. Helens was a settlement town for Syrians. It is no longer a settlement town for just Syrians. We have 17 nationalities represented in Café Laziz, which is amazing. And it means that we have an international cuisine that is fantastic. I keep using the word amazing, sorry. As you can see, we've changed the logo from an Arabic-based logo to the world, which I think it's a great logo. I'm in love with it. And you can see that they all wear different colors. We all wear a different colored top to show that we are from all corners of the earth. I'm an ESOL teacher. My passion is ESOL. And we teach English as well. So we've developed the cafe idea into teaching English. This is us having a vocabulary lesson on the body. Habiba is a nurse in Pakistan, and it was a bit embarrassing because she knew a lot more words than I did about the human body. And we also do a lot of social events and things because people like to get together. People like to know that other people are in the same boat as they are. And so it's just a really nice, positive environment that we're in. I asked some of our volunteers why they volunteer with us, and that's what we got from it. They told us that it's a sense of community, a sense of belonging, friends. It helps them to remember what their life was like. And this is Halima from Somalia. She is the only Somalian in St. Helens, and she was critically lonely. And she came to Café Laziz, and now she said she has a family, which is amazing. We want to make St. Helens an international beacon of welcome, Chris. So yeah, that's what our dream is, and that's what we are going for. We need to make a hub for these people to come to feel like they are welcome in St. Helens. We're doing lots of events. I've left some leaflets, as I mentioned. Please follow us. Please see the work we're doing. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Emma. And I think amazing, it sounds a very good way of describing your project. Thanks very much. Finn, can you just stand up and show everyone your T-shirt, lad? Can you see it? Can you see that, yeah? Our next speaker is Tris Brown, and his talk is Never Mind the Bollards. Can you see what he's done? So welcome to Tris.
Thank you very, very much. Before I start, who wants to see a Toastmaster face-off at next Ignite? Yeah. Right, I'm going to attempt to do the impossible here. I'm going to attempt to persuade you to love bollards because I love bollards. They are just the best thing. Look at that. Fucking hell. This is from Newcastle. It's shouting. Yeah, why, aye, man, shouting at it, at you, right there. But how can you not appreciate the beauty of a piece of metal, like fermented from the core of... What do you mean this isn't working? Anyone who knows me will know that I quite like my politics. I like to engage in politics. And when I go on holiday, I always like to see what's happening in the politics of wherever we are, which is why I took this photo. Obviously. No, of course I fucking didn't. Bollards! Look at them. Fucking gorgeous. I have no idea what's going on with that one. Like, why does that chop your head off? No idea. But this is on a street in Greece, and it's a shopping street, and I disappeared. My wife turned around, and I'd gone. And she was like, where is he? And it's because I'd seen this street, and I wanted to take these photos. Because this is why I love bollards. You've got cars parking, you've got cars driving, you've got pedestrians feeling safe, and look how beautiful it is. Because bollards do this. They achieve the magnificence. This is the Grand Place in Lille. Look how wonderful that European streetscape is. A wonderful, typical kind of Grand Place European thing. But there's actually a main road that goes straight through the middle of it. And the reason why it doesn't impact that sense of place, that sense of welcoming, that sense of how you exist in the space, is because bollards keep the road separate from people. They protect people, but at the same time, people are allowed to go through it. It's permeable. The streetscape almost gives way to people. Cars have to slow down. They have to be mindful of people around it. And that's why I think they are magnificent. That is what they deliver. And again, how typically European is that space? If that was Kensington, there'd be cars parked all the fucking way up it, right? This is Cannes in the south of France. Who can? Bollards can, right? So now we move to Shanghai. Note to self, that says Huangpo Municipal Authority, don't get a tattoo. But like even in Shanghai, the bollards will talk at you and tell you when you can cross. Amazing. And another reminder of why, 2 slides to remind you why. This is Newcastle the other morning. Only the magnificence of that surrounding, 7 a.m. Newcastle in the morning, is because bollards, street furniture, separates cars and people. It keeps those spaces safe for us, and it allows us to create vistas and invest, whether it's with plantings or trees or whatever. They are what allow us to have beauty in our towns and cities. But we might as well acknowledge the controversy that sometimes happens. Look, bollard down, bollard down. Right? And what I love about this, no need to RSVP, simply show up on the day. What do we want? Unsafe streets. When? Well, you don't have to tell us if you're coming. But we've got our own controversy here in Liverpool, right? Do you remember when we fucked up Lark Lane during COVID? Right, Lark Lane, what a load of bollards. Because, I mean, as much as I admire the beauty of these plastic dildo-shaped things, and then eventually we tried to get it right, but you've got to admit it still doesn't work. And Lark Lane is a place that is proud of the way it looks. It's proud of the quality of its visual appeal, and we still fucked it up. But there's a lesson to be learned here because, so this is Ivanhoe Road just off the back of Lark Lane. Who here lives on Lark Lane? Okay. But where do the cars go? Unfortunately, they just move to the roads around, and they continue to ruin the experience of everyone. I cannot do this presentation without mentioning the paramilitary wing of bollards, which is the World Bollard Association here, who have a very kind of, militant view of the importance of bollards. I mean, they even do merch. That's how popular they are. And they take particular pleasure in posting videos of BMWs being wrecked by bollards. I don't know. It's particularly BMWs. They're really, really special at that. But we have actually our own. This is the world's most famous bollard. It's here in Liverpool. It's on Slater Street. And I can't show a video clip. Look at the joy on this face. The absolute pleasure. And they match this video to Josh Groban and lift you up. So, but the final point here is that bollards will rise, and when the revolution happens, I know what side of the streetscape and pedestrian-saving permeable fence I'm going to be on.
Thank you, Tris. Bollards breeding overnight. We've got a brand new speaker. Somebody's never spoken at Ignite, so I want you to give her a big warm welcome. It's Francesca Manca, shaping your business around people's needs.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Fran. I'm one half of Clockwork Studios. We want to talk about how did we change from the idea we had of starting a CIC in Prescott to actually what we're doing now, not because we think we're really cool, but because we think it happens to a lot of people. So did you know that in Liverpool there are over 50 co-working spaces, and only 8 of them are actually set up as a CIC or trade socially, but there is only one that is run by 2 mums who have children with special needs, who also run another business each, and wanted to open the first co-working space in Prescott. So what did we do? We wanted to open Clockwork Studios because we wanted to create something that wasn't there, and we wanted it to be really cool, but also really welcoming. We wanted to create a community-led co-working space offering hot desking, meeting, and event room hire, but also providing inclusive events, accredited learning, workshop, courses, and activities for professionals, families, teenagers. And people just go, what? We had all these ideas because we could see there were things that were missing in Prescott, so we went, we're going to give the professionals what they want. But we weren't really sure of what the professional wanted. So that is us. The one with the flowers is me, with different hair, and this is Kelly, the one with the cocktail. She needs a cocktail because I keep talking like that even when I'm not on a stage every day. She is an accountant and the founder of the Success Plan. She's a mom of 3. She's really passionate about helping others succeed. She's a gamer and a 90s disco music fan. I am a business and marketing strategist. I specialize in helping neurodiverse entrepreneurs start a business. I'm a Sen mom and I'm a Viking reenactor. And we set up Clockworks because we wanted to be inclusive, welcoming, productive, supportive, and awesome, which means absolutely nothing when you're talking about a business. We wanted to provide startup and business growth support, networking, and a space to work and study. And we thought this was what Prescott needed, and it wasn't working at all. We spent the first 5 months racking our brains to understand why we weren't as successful as we thought we were going to be on the first month, with me being a business strategist and Kelly helping people start in their own business. So we lured people in with cake, because it always works. We actually did. We went out with cake and we got people in and we asked them what did they want. And that was really easy because they told us. People wanted to tell us what was missing. What did they want? What did they need to succeed? Or what we could have given them. So then we went and got a bacon butty from the chicken shop. If you've never been to Prescott, this is something you have to try. The chicken shop is absolutely amazing. We thought and thought and thought, and then Clockwork in the Community was born, because we couldn't just give people one thing, and people were asking us for so many different things, and we decided to make them all happy. Clockwork in the Community is a volunteer-led community hub. We still have the co-working space. We still have the community, like the offices for hire, but we use the space to run what the community wants. These are only some of the things we've done in 2023 and 2024. So we turned the space into a space to do Halloween, family-friendly events, or Positive Motions, which is a course for teenagers who want to learn how to stream, but also taking care of their mental health. And very, very soon, Clockwork in the Community Cafe will be born, where we will welcome people who want to work, but also people who want to knit, or people who want just a space to stay warm. If you want to know more, if you want a chat on how, or just think about ideas that you have in mind and want to turn into a business, come around. Coffee is free, cake is free. These are our contacts. We are on every social media except TikTok, but not for long. And thank you very much, and we'll see you soon in Clockwork.
Thank you very much indeed, Francesca. We've got another Ignite debut now, Norman Piotrowski. And oh, I do beg your pardon. How to do the most good we can.
Has it started yet? Okay. Hi, my name is Norman, and I tend to ask myself the question, how can I do the most good I can, including with this speech? And if you ask yourself that question as well, or at least think it's interesting, I guess you would also agree that it's important, right? So it's important enough to think about it rationally, but what is actually rationality? So I nicked this off the dictionary website. The rationality is the quality of making decisions based on clear thought and reason is the ability to think and make judgments, especially based on practical facts. That was pretty quick. So how rational are we based on these definitions? Not very much. Don't bother reading through all those. Those are types of biases that we're prone to. My favorite two ones are scope neglect, which basically means whether it's 100,000 or 100 million, we literally don't know the difference. And G.I. Joe fallacy, just the fact that you're aware of something doesn't mean you're immune to it. So what's a practical example of biases? So when addressing HIV or AIDS, there are 5 most common ways. What is the most effective approach, biases aside, right? So let's look at the data, because I'm a data science student. So you'll see a chart now. And basically, years of life saved per $1,000, if you were measured it that way, surgical treatment is the least effective, whereas education for high-risk groups, by far the most, even compared to condom distribution, right? So that's a cause area. That's a practical example. What about people? You might think that a doctor is impactful, right? If you had a town or a city of 100,000 people, it turns out that basically their impact kind of tops is optimal at 100 doctors per that city. With each one, each doctor more, their impact is basically close to none. What about more impactful doctors? Dr. David Nallen devised oral rehydration treatment and basically treated cholera and saved millions of lives. So he's probably impactful, right? What about another one? Dr. Karl Landsteiner, I probably butchered it, but in the 1900s, he helped distinguish the main blood groups and basically allowed for safe blood transfusion. So he's probably impactful as well, right? Probably saved some lives at least. But then there's this random Soviet guy, right? He was a lieutenant who basically detected, his systems kind of detected a nuclear missile launch from the US, and the system said to kind of respond, and he refused in 1984. And as you can see, there is no comparison whatsoever how many lives he saved. Not a chance, right? But basically, he saved about 1 billion. So there's, global health, nuclear war, important issues, right? And there's plenty more. So easy to get overwhelmed. There's global poverty, there's climate change, there is food security, pandemics, all those issues, and so many more. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed. And, as you may remember, the G.I. Joe fallacy, just because we're aware of something, we're not immune to it. If you think AI is scary, in 2020, there was about 40,000 researchers making AI more capable. And I don't know if you heard about Sora or Claude 3 recently. They're better than ChatGPT. And around 300 researchers making it safer. So that's pretty scary, right? But because we're aware of it, I would make the claim that we're in the best position to do good in history. And everyone can make an impact, including yourself, or most importantly, yourself and myself. So how do we actually go about doing that, besides giving speeches? Basically, you have a household income of around £50,000. So 2 adults and 1 child, if you have an average income with A-levels, you are in the richest 8.7% of the global population, and your income is 6.6 times higher than the global median. If you were to donate 10% of that income post-tax, so $5,000 in donations, you're still in the top 10% of the richest people, and your income is still 6 times the global median. So you're not doing too bad, right? And what do you do actually with that money? What do you achieve? Basically, you save yearly over 1 life, statistically speaking, 1.2 healthy lives. And you can actually put in your own numbers on a website called Giving What We Can, How Rich Am I? And kind of play around with it. So money is one resource, but actually I'd make the claim that time is possibly your biggest resource. 80,000 hours is the amount of time that you spend in your job if you work a 9 to 5 after graduating until you retire. And potentially, that is the most important resource that you have, as I said. And that way of thinking is known as effective altruism. As you can see by the t-shirt, there is a global community behind it, a network of professionals, events, conferences, books, but there are also local communities. And pull out your phone app or like a QR scanner. And I came here kind of to talk to you about effective altruism Liverpool. So basically, if you scan it, what you're going to see is our WhatsApp group. You can join it. There's a freshly created professionals group. And also, you can get a free book, as well as a few other links with our events. I do appreciate that you're probably not going to get the chance to scan the QR code, but we have a lovely group over there. And I'm pointing at Richie right now. He'll probably kind of lift his hand. So feel free to chat to us, and let's do the most good we can. And thank you for your time.
Oh, there's so many really nice, positive talks tonight. It's very apt. It's our 50th edition. It's just been really nice. Who we've got now is Emma. Now, she's spoken previously, going back a bit, I think, talking about her then idea for Red Archive, but that's come to fruition since that idea, and she's coming to talk about celebrating our wins, the Red Archive journey so far, and what's next.
I was enjoying myself too much then. I wasn't even prepared. Oh, hello. So yeah, my name's Emma Case, and I'm going to talk to you about the Red Archive, which is an archive, a community archive, collecting Liverpool fans' personal photos and their stories, and then sharing them back with the fan community in creative ways. And why am I doing that? Because of this lad here. Jimmy Case. He was a football player in the 70s and 80s for Liverpool, and he's my dad. And annoyingly, he went to play for Southampton in 81, hence why I haven't got a Scouse accent. But he wrote his autobiography, and I was reading it, and I was like, I know nothing about it, and how do I find out more? So I used to get the train up to Liverpool, and before a match, I would just take photos of fans, and they would tell me the most amazing stories, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, oh my God, these stories are gonna go. And so I started visiting them in their homes. This is Peggy, she's in her 90s, her first match was in the 40s, and we would go through these photo albums, and I was like, there's so many stories here that are just going to get lost. So I asked the fans, can you send me your photos that you've got up in the loft? And this is what they sent me. Literally, I was blown away. There was like European matches, there was first kits. This archive just grew, and I was like, what am I going to do with it? So I took it to residential homes and with groups with people living with dementia, and we would share stories and sing You'll Never Walk Alone. And then Madrid came, the Champions League final. I couldn't go, and I was like, I really want someone to document it. Can people take disposable cameras with them and shoot their version? And 12 fans took cameras, and this is what they shot. And I was like, shit, I'm a photographer, and I could never shoot this kind of stuff. It was incredible. It was such a fan's eye view. And so I decided, right, okay, how can we share this with the rest of the fans? And so we made an exhibition in a pub garden in Anfield, Hotel Tia, Taggy's Bar. And we had a launch party with home-baked pies, of course. It got put in the match programme. We made a zine out of it. And the pride of fans seeing their photos just made me want to do it more and more. So an opportunity came up to put it the archive in Open Eye Gallery. But it was locked down, and the doors opened the day that the second lockdown started. And so hardly anybody got to see it. But what fans started doing was giving me memorabilia. So they started giving me items. So all of a sudden, I was like an archivist, and I have no idea how to be an archivist. And so I was like, how do I wring this archive dry? And so I wanted to take the archive out to the fans. And the only way I thought of doing it was by maybe a little bit of transport. So I started a crowdfunder, and we got £9,000 to renovate this beautiful little Man City blue caravan, which now is not Man City blue. It's red. LFC TV came and documented the whole story, which was amazing, but I hate myself on any kind of video, so not so amazing. And then we went for some Heritage Lottery funding, which is the worst thing I hate doing funding applications, so thank you, Kindred, for not having those. And we took this little caravan on tour, and we took it to the life rooms, we took it to the deaf centre, we took it to HMP Walton, we went into the prison, and we just talked to fans and did tote bag painting workshops and sang You'll Never Walk Alone and looked at memories. And honestly, it was the most incredible experience of my entire life. I cried every single day. Somebody turned up with a cello and did a whole rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone. I mean, there was Evertonians in the room, they cried. Then we had, for a good reason, not a bad reason, we've had loads of really great partnerships with a House of Memories, with Museum of Liverpool. Expedia wanted to do something with the Madrid photos, so the fans got paid. It was brilliant. Then Paris happened. So 27 fans, again, took disposable cameras. It was brilliant. They were all in a WhatsApp group. They were having a great time. And then, obviously, if everybody knows, from 4 o'clock onwards, it wasn't as great, but we really wanted to tell that story as well. So in May last year, we did another exhibition in town, and we showed the whole story. We showed the joy, the fantastic side, but we also showed, actually, it wasn't that great either, and we did a launch, and we did a big talk about it. And then this is the dream. Can somebody give me this pharmacy opposite Anfield, and can I fill it with everybody's photos, and can we do workshops, and can we just have people come every week and just talk and share joy and connect, and that's what I want to do. So if you want to help, because it's just me doing this, just get hold of me and talk to me about your stories, and thank you very much.
And Emma was our final speaker tonight. A round of applause for all of our speakers, please. I think all the speakers have outdone themselves tonight. It was truly like a really wide range of subjects, and everything seems to come from the heart as well. So another round of applause for the speakers, I think. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for coming as well, of course, because Ignite won't be Ignite if we didn't have a lovely audience. So thank you to you. Lots of love and thanks to Kindred for their sponsorship as well. Feel free to grab them. We're going to be here for a bit, aren't we? The bar's still open, yes, for a while. Feel free to grab, not in a sexual harassment way, in the spirit of collaboration, for a chat about what Kindred do, or grab any of us in any way that you like. Thank you to Matty, Dan, Lydia, Finn, and Neil, and it said plus me as well. So a round of applause to everyone Ignite. And yeah, I feel I should lead a happy birthday to Ignite, but I don't think I will. I think you can just have it in your heads. But thank you very much, everyone. It's been a really lovely evening.